Hello friends, this is Jenn Espinosa-Goswami. I'm trying to be a little quiet today because I'm in my daughter's parking lot for her school and there's going to be kids coming around and there's a bus driver behind me, so I'm trying to be a little quiet. But thank you for joining me here on my page over at Be Weightless. And you notice the title of this video is Stressed? It's good for you. I'm going to talk about two specific types of stress and why stress is actually a good thing and how to deal with the stress that shows up in your life, whether it's the good type of stress or the other type of stress. So thank you for joining me live today. If you are joining me, make sure to comment below, where are you joining me from? I'd love to see what localities and environments folks are joining me from, whether that's a city, a state of mind, whatever. Please comment below and let me know that you're watching this so I can say hi back. So let's talk about stress a little bit, because stress has been linked to a number of very bad and negative things, including heart disease, heart attack, depression, all sorts of different things that are not desirable in our lives. So a lot of people say reduce stress is the best thing you can do in terms of your overall health and wellness, but nobody really gives you a specific game plan on how to do that. Before we talk about the game plan, because you know I've got one for you, let's talk about the types of stress you can encounter in your life, because there's more than one kind of stress, and one of those types of stresses is actually good for you, believe it or not. So before we launch into all of that, why don't you share with me, whether you're watching live or on the replay, either way, hashtag replay in the comments if you're watching the replay. But name one situation, environment, or what have you that causes stress in your life. It could be something as mundane as the gas light turning on in your car when you're driving, or something more significant like passing a loved one who's passed and you're grieving their loss even years later. But I'd like to hear from you. What are some of the situations that show up for you that cause significant stress? And by the way, I'm not here to judge anyone. We all respond to stress differently. Some things that could be stressful for me may not be stressful for you, and I want to acknowledge that that's okay. There's no judgment here. You know, I'm not asking you to share so that I can be like, well, that doesn't stress me at all. Not at all, because we have to be willing to extend grace to those of us who feel stress in situations that others don't feel stress in. And to some extent, I feel like our society doesn't allow us to sit within our stress. They're like, no, you need to get rid of it. Well, some of us could be going through a day-to-day battle with stress and put a pretty face on it and not show it on our face and end up being like completely volcanic inside of ourselves because we're just feeling so stressed we can't even deal with it. So it's okay for you to say, yes, I'm stressed. And yes, even though these are everyday common things that is stressing me out, it's okay to acknowledge that. And I feel that we should, as a society, be willing to say, I can't decide what makes someone else stressed. What I can say is I see you, I acknowledge you, and I know that can be challenging for you. So let's acknowledge each other in our stressful ways and the things that cause us stress, and acknowledge that it's okay. It's okay to be stressed. It's okay that those certain things can be stressful for us, even if it's not something that would stress someone else out. It's okay to be stressed. It's okay to say, I'm feeling very stressed right now. Let's make that an okay thing so that we can approach techniques and tools to deal with that stress. One of the things that makes me stressed out is changes to my schedule. And this is really funny because I'm a very organized person. So if I have a typical schedule where I'm like, I know exactly when I'm going to work out, I know exactly when I'm going to do my meditation, I know exactly when I'm going to do, start making meals, pick up my kids, go do errands. I know exactly when those things are going to happen during the course of my day. And if something happens where I can't do it at the time I'm supposed to do it, that is stressful for me. I don't really handle change in the moment very well. I can handle change if it's more gradual or if I could see it coming, but if it's something that's very sudden, it's very stressful for me. So that's one thing that causes me stress. Now you're probably like, well, why did she call this video Stress is Good for You? And here's where we're going to talk about the two different kinds of stress. So what does stress do physically to our bodies? It releases chemicals and endorphins and cortisol and things that allow our bodies to make a choice between flight or fight. And that's a good thing. That is a biological response that we cannot change. Even if we think we're really good at putting a pretty face on our stress, our bodies will still physically respond the same way to stress, regardless of whether we show it or we emphasize it or we share it. So it's a biological response that we cannot control. I'm going to repeat that. Our body's chemicals that flood when we're stressed, that flood our brains, our bodies, is something we cannot control. It will happen regardless. So when you're starting to feel stress, that means that you are in a situation where you're in fight or flight. That's a good thing, because it's a survival instinct that came to us from our ancestors, and they needed to be in a situation where their bodies were flooded with the right kinds of things to escape a situation that was dangerous for them. A tiger, some creature trying to kill them, an earthquake. There were lots of things that could happen in the physical environment that caused people to be stressed. The only problem is we don't have those types of physical challenges as much today, and we can still have that fight or flight response when we're not physically challenged, but we're mentally challenged. So it's all becoming a head game, right? You can still get stressed inside your head and cause that physical reaction in your body. We know that that's true. And we also know that a lot of people are not sharing that level of stress because they feel like it's not accepted, it's not appreciated, it's not recognized, it's not shared, whatever. So we keep it within ourselves, and it can tear our lives apart, just to be honest. So how is that good for us? Because fight or flight gives us two options. Do we fight and take action and move and give those chemicals in our body something to do? Because that's what they're there for. Or do we flee? Do we leave the scene of the crime? Do we get far away? Do we avoid situations that could be more stressful to us? Those are our two choices. And those are not bad choices. Those are, sometimes we need to have our backs up against a wall to make a decision. And that can be a good thing. Let me give you an example. Whenever I'm about to speak, I'm a speaker, so I speak several times a month. It's not a big deal for me. I've been doing it for years. I love to speak. It lights me up like nothing else. But consistently, the hour before I'm about to speak, even the day I wake up that I'm going to speak, regardless if it's a 15-minute getting to know you kind of thing or an hour-long lunch and learn seminar, it doesn't matter how long I'm going to speak. It doesn't matter who I'm speaking to. It doesn't matter where I'm speaking. I still get butterflies in my stomach. That's stress. I'm still physically reacting to that feeling. And that's great, because that means it matters to me. That means I have some fear. That means I have some concerns. That means it's important to me and I like it. And I can turn that stress, that small stress, because obviously I can't fail at speaking. I can disappoint my clients, but I can't fail. You know, I get up and I speak and I share a message, and I'm pretty good at connecting with my audiences, but you know, there's no way to fail that. But my mind doesn't know that. So I still feel that stress response every time I speak. That's a good thing, because that is a way to get more energy, to increase the type of message I can share with people. If I'm feeling kind of chill and relaxed, I may not be able to have the energy level to bring up a room of people who are maybe a little bit bored with the day, maybe dealing with their own stresses, maybe dealing with things that I can never know about, but they're not in the same mindset of excited and energized and motivated. If I'm starting from that place as a speaker, they can only rise to match me. So that's a positive thing. If you're feeling stressed because you're like, I got to get food on the table for my family and I have 15 minutes to do it, that can be stressful. But that maybe causes you to take action because you're like, oh, I got 10 minutes to do that. Then that's a good thing, because you take action and things get done. When you flee is when stress is not helpful for you. So this first type of stress, where you take action, the flight response, if you will, you do something about that stress, you give those chemicals a physical way to react, to manifest, if you will. You're making it physical, your stress response physical, which is good, because that's what you have to work with. That is the good type of stress. That is the, what was I going to call it? The sizzling stress. It makes you sizzle. It makes you take action. It makes you energize and light up and create a flame for others. That is the good type of stress, the sizzle stress. By the way, I made this up. The sizzle stress. No, nobody else came up with this. I'm just making it up. The other type of stress is a type that you might be dealing with and you don't know how to get away from, which is the stumped type of stress or survival stress. This is the stress where you want to flee, but you can't flee. So this could be the you hate your job stress. This could be the I have no money to pay my bills stress. This could be the creditors are knocking down my door stress. This could be the my kid is in a really bad situation and I don't know what to do stress. That is survival stress. You cannot escape your environment. It's impossible. And you don't know what to do and you're completely stressed out. That is the stumped or the survival stress. Now, I told you that regardless of what type of stress you have, you can do something about it. And so depending on what level of stress you're having and what you're dealing with, the technique is the same. The result will be different depending on what your stress you're dealing with. So the technique is meditation. By the way, I am enrolling for 30 days. Throughout the course of the rest of this month, we're going to be exploring different ways to meditate, because meditation is the tool for this. Meditation is not the only tool, but I feel it's the best tool. And here's why. Because it's not a survival strategy. Yes, you can meditate in the moment if you want to. That can be very challenging in some moments depending on what you're dealing with. But it's more of a preventative technique. And you're like, well, preventative, whatever. Like, I don't have time. I've got these other things going on. I'm stressed for a reason. Why would I add one more thing? That's not how it works. It's preventative in the sense that if you establish a practice of meditating frequently, and everyone's frequency is different, we're going to explore that inside of 30 days. But if you have a practice of meditating regularly enough to calm down your stress response, no matter what type of stress, that is your preventative medicine. And it works way better than medicine. There's no like side symptoms. There's no side effects. It doesn't cost you anything. Most meditation is free. You have to find ones that fit for your situation and for what you feel like and resonate with, but it's completely free. And it's something that you can replicate again and again and again and again. And the result is you feel calm. You feel collected. You feel like you can handle those survival stress situations that come up for you, because they will come up. We can't predict when they're going to. That's why they're stressful. They will come up. Even more than that, meditation can help you during the sizzle stress. And here's what I mean by that. So sizzle stress can become stumped stress, right? When we get elevated enough in our emotions or down into the black hole of our emotions, it can aggregate, right, into stumped or survival stress, and we don't want that to happen. That's why meditation is a great preventative tool for both types of stress, because if you can't bring it out of your pocket and use it in the moment, that's fine, but you can use it to create a different base level of emotions for yourself so that you don't aggregate the sizzling stress that feels okay and motivates you to make change happen in a good way. You can elevate that in such a way that it's an even keel for you throughout the course of your month, your day, your week, whatever. You're at a level place so that you never elevate too high to get to that stumped or survival stress. You never feel stuck because you're already regulating what you're doing regularly enough that things feel okay to you and you are better able to handle that. You might know that as resiliency and adaptability, but that's what you can do. Hey Jade.
Hey Mama.
All right, I will connect with you in a few minutes. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.